Good morning everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the topic opportunistic mycosis, also known as opportunistic fungal infections. These are infections which are found in patients with underlying predisposing conditions and usually would not cause infections in healthy people, but these fungi are able to cause infections under certain circumstances such as immunodeficiency, malignancy, immunosuppressive therapy, AIDS, burns patients, diabetes, dialysis patients, and patients on long-term antibiotics. Types of opportunistic mycosis. So what are the common and important opportunistic fungal infections include candidiasis, cryptococcosis, aspergillosis, pneumocystis, penicillosis, zygomycosis, and miscellaneous fungal infections or miscellaneous opportunistic mycosis. Coming to the candidiasis is an important opportunistic infection caused by the genus Candida. So candidiasis, a fungal infection typically on the skin or mucous membrane caused by Candida. We call it as candidiasis. These are yeast-like species, and other Candida species are Candida tropicalis, Candida glabrata, Candida parapsilosis, Candida krusei. So already I said these are yeast-like species causing mucocutaneous, cutaneous, and systemic, also known as disseminated infections. The most pathogenic element is Candida albicans, so which are most component of the normal flora. Coming to the pathogenesis, so coming to the predisposing factors, extremes of age, especially infants and old age, and also pregnancy, who are having low immunity, and immunosuppressive drugs, organ transplantation, malignancy and HIV patients, and patients on broad spectrum antibiotics, and also diabetes mellitus, febrile neutropenia, and zinc or iron deficiency. These are the predisposing factors to the candidiasis. Coming to the virulence factors, adhesins, so which are help to adhesion to the skin and mucosa, and also enzymes, aspartyl proteinase and serine proteinases, which helps in tissue invasion, and toxins, usually glycoprotein extracts are similar to bacterial endotoxins, and important one is pseudohyphae. Whenever it presents in the KOH and Gram stain, it indicates active infection. Coming to the clinical features. So what are clinical features? In association of mucous membrane, there are some important fungal infections caused by Candida or thrush, also known as oropharyngeal candidiasis. Thrush mainly presents in oropharyngeal region, and esophagitis. Inflammation of the esophagus, we call it as esophagitis, and most important one is vaginitis. This condition can cause inflammation, intense itchiness, and a thick white discharge from the vagina. And next thing, cutaneous infections. So first thing, paronychia. Paronychia is an infection of the tissue adjacent to the nail, most often a finger nail. When the skin around the nail is damaged, Candida can get in and cause an infection. And onychomycosis, inflammation of the nails, we call it as onychomycosis, fungus infection of the nail, and also we call it as tinea unguium. And diaper rash, prolonged exposure to urine or stool can irritate a baby's sensitive skin. It leads to fungal infection. And next thing, balanitis. Balanitis, also known as inflammation of the foreskin and head of the penis. Usually causes include skin disorders, infection, poor hygiene, and uncontrolled diabetes. So these are the pictures of oral thrush and onychomycosis. And third one, disseminated or systemic infection of candidiasis. So first thing, endophthalmitis. Endophthalmitis is an purulent inflammation of the intraocular fluids of the eye. It leads to eye pain and redness. It leads to decreased vision of the eye. Then also it spreads to the liver, spleen, kidneys, skin, brain, lungs and bone. Coming to the laboratory diagnosis, specimens are blood, urine, cerebrospinal fluid, skin, respiratory secretions and vaginal swab. The next, direct microscopy. Here we can use potassium hydroxide mount and gram stain. In case of KOH mount, the pseudohyphae with fungal elements, and in case of gram stain we can observe budding gram positive yeast cells. And fungal culture, the specimen can be cultured on Savarod's dextrose agar with supplementation of antibacterial antibiotics and incubated at 25 degrees centigrade and 37 degrees centigrade. After overnight incubation, the colonies are cream colored, smooth and pasty appearance. And also we can use cornmeal agar, chrome agar for the cultivation of fungal elements. And next important one is gem tube test, also known as Reynolds brood phenomenon. Here we can use the inoculation of yeast in human serum, then incubated at 37 degrees for 2 to 4 hours. Once if it is positive, you will get gem tube around the Candida species. Then if it is negative, absence of gem tube. So here usually Candida albicans can produce gem tube. It is mainly used for to detect Candida albicans. The Candida albicans always comes positive gem tube test. Serological reactions. For antigen detection, we can use ELISA, RIA and latex agglutination test. For antibody detection, we can use immunofluorescent and ELISA. For molecular methods, we can use polymerase chain reaction. And treatment, we can use oral fluconazole or capsofungin and topical azoles, amphotericin B or capsofungin. Coming to the cryptococcosis, is an infection caused by encapsulated yeast belonging to genus Cryptococcus. The main two varieties are Cryptococcus neoformans, Cryptococcus gattii, and these serotypes are A, B, C and D, and other species Cryptococcus albidus, Cryptococcus laurenti. Coming to the pathogenesis, the mode of infection is through inhalation, and mainly it causes immunocompetent individual, and it causes cerebrospinal presence in the cerebrospinal fluid, and causes central nervous system, and it cross blood brain barrier. So whenever it presents in macrophages, we call it as Trojan horse. So these are present as Trojan horses in the macrophages. And virulence factors are polysaccharide capsule and enzymes, phenyl oxidase, phospholipase and urease. And habitat, these are ubiquitous in nature and present in mainly pigeon droppings, nests and old buildings. So the route of entry is through inhalation and through the penetration of the skin. And clinical features, so it causes lung infection, central nervous system infection and skin infections, and also respiratory pneumonitis. In case of central nervous system, it causes meningitis, meningoencephalitis. So it causes cutaneous lesion in case of on the skin lesions, and also it causes bone infection. Coming to the lab diagnosis, the specimens are cerebrospinal fluid, sputum in case of respiratory disorders, and in case of skin lesions we can collect exudates of the skin. Then we need to go for microscopy. So here we can use direct examination with the help of India ink preparation or negative stain. Here we'll get capsulated halo structure that indicates Cryptococcus. The next thing, gram stain. So under microscope it shows gram positive yeast cells. In case of lactophenol cotton blue, encapsulated yeast cells appears. So next, culture. So here we can use Sabouraud's dextrose agar in two slants, that means temperature. One is 25 degrees centigrade and 37 degrees centigrade. On SDA, the colonies appears like mucoid cream colored colonies. And also we can use birdseed agar. On birdseed agar, the colonies appears brown colonies. Biochemical tests. So these are urease positive, assimilation of inositol and nitrate. Coming to the antigen detection, here we can use cryptolatex agglutination test and titer 1:80 or more is significant in case of cryptolatex agglutination test. And antibody detection, we can use agglutination test, indirect fluorescence and complement fixation test. And also we can use animal inoculation to know the virulency of the Cryptococcus. Then polymerase chain reaction. Coming to the treatment, amphotericin B, flucytosine, imidazole, triazole. So usually you can give three kinds of antifungal drugs. Those are itraconazole, fluconazole, voriconazole, and echinocandins. Contains caspofungin and micafungin. Coming to the aspergillosis, is a systemic and superficial fungal infection caused by several species of the genus Aspergillus. So most common species are Aspergillus fumigatus, Aspergillus niger, Aspergillus flavus. The source of infection is from the soil and decaying plants. Then the route of entry is through the inhalation and the penetration of the skin. Coming to the clinical manifestations or clinical infections. So usually lung infection, it causes lung infection. So under lung infection it causes allergic aspergillosis, aspergilloma, invasive aspergillosis. Allergic aspergillosis also known as bronchopulmonary aspergillosis. And next, aspergilloma. Aspergillomas are moss-like fungus balls that are typically composed of Aspergillus fumigatus and are non-invasive form of pulmonary aspergillosis. And next, invasive aspergillosis. Invasive aspergillosis are rapidly progressive and fatal infection that occurs in patients who are severely immunocompromised. And next, central nervous system infections. So usually central nervous system, it leads to brain abscess, cerebritis, meningitis and inflammation of the ventricles. We call it as ventriculitis. And next, keratomycosis, fungal infection of the cornea, the anterior part of the eye which covers the pupil. And then paranasal sinus infections. Aspergillosis of the nasal and paranasal sinuses is recognized as being second to the candidiasis in immunocompromised patients. And next, cutaneous infections. These are rare and is most commonly caused by Aspergillus fumigatus and flavus. And last one, endocarditis. And these are also rare and fatal conditions, along with fever and changing heart murmur are the most common clinical manifestations. Coming to the lab diagnosis, the specimens are sputum, bronchoalveolar, lavage, transbronchial biopsy, which means bronchoscope is inserted through the nose or mouth to collect several pieces of the lung tissue. And also we can collect pus and skin biopsy. Coming to the microscopy, we can use KOH preparation and LPCB. In case of KOH preparation, you will get hyaline septate hyphae with dichomatous branching. In case of LPCB, you will get conidiophore vesicle and conidiospores. Fungal culture on SDA, both temperatures like 25 degrees and 37 degrees centigrade, and also we can use other media like PDA, Zipac dox agar and malt extract agar. Coming to the antigen antibody detection. So for the antigen antibody detection, we can use latex agglutination, ELISA, RIA and immunoblotting techniques. In case of molecular technique, we can use polymerase chain reaction, and also we can use skin test to know the hypersensitivity of the infection. Then treatment, we can use amphotericin B and voriconazole. Coming to the penicillosis. Penicillium present in environment, various substrates like edible things, bread, jam, fruit and cheese. Penicillium marneffi is an important species, so it unique among Penicillium. These are true pathogen and dimorphic. It causes skin lesions, disseminated and also systemic infections in immunocompromised patients. Coming to the lab diagnosis, these are yeast and small oval 2 to 4 micrometers in diameter. Then these are septate hyphae with branched conidiophores and 2 rows of sterigmata bearing chain of spores. It looks like brush or brooms. Coming to the culture on SDA, you will get mycelia forms produces red diffusible pigment. That is the indication of Penicillium marneffi. And coming to the treatment, you can use intravenous amphotericin B and oral itraconazole. Coming to the zygomycosis, also known as mucormycosis or phycomycetes, caused by aseptate filamentous fungi. The common species are Rhizopus, Mucor and Absidia. Coming to the clinical features, rhinocerebral zygomycosis, pulmonary zygomycosis, cutaneous zygomycosis, GIT zygomycosis, disseminated zygomycosis. Rhinocerebral zygomycosis, these are rare opportunistic infection of the sinuses, nasal passages, oral cavity and brain. Pulmonary zygomycosis, diabetes mellitus is the most common predisposing factor for pulmonary zygomycosis. And cutaneous zygomycosis, most patients with cutaneous zygomycosis have underlying conditions such as hematological malignancies, diabetes mellitus and organ transplantation. In case of gastrointestinal tract zygomycosis, the stomach is most common site of gastrointestinal zygomycosis. Symptoms are non-septic abdominal pain, nausea and vomiting. And last one, disseminated zygomycosis, mainly present in hematopoietic stem cell transplant recipients. This is high mortality among all the zygomycosis. And peculiar characteristics, these are broad septate hyphae and predilection to involve blood vessels. Mainly diabetes is a risk factor. And here we can see sporangium, columella and sporangiophore stolon, also known as septate hyphae, then presence of rhizoids. Coming to the lab diagnosis, specimens are nasal discharge, pus, sputum and biopsy, and microscopy, KOH preparation. So in KOH preparation, you will observe broad aseptate ribbon-like hyphae branching at 45 to 90 degrees angle, and culture on SDA can put for both 25 and 37 degrees centigrade. Colony characters and LBCB pictures you can see here. So here in case of Mucor, the colonies are grey in brown, Then the picture of it shows in case of mucor branched sporangiophore. Here rhizoids are absent. So these are rhizoids. So here in mucor rhizoids are absent, and here in case of Rhizopus rhizoids are present. So here rhizoids are present in between pear-shaped columella. So here rhizoids are present. So here rhizoids are present. In case of mucor rhizoids are absent. And Rhizopus, the colonies are light to dark grey, and Absidia white to pale grey. Coming to the treatment, intravenous amphotericin B, surgical drainage and control of diabetes. And pneumocystosis caused by Pneumocystis carinii or Pneumocystis jirovecii. Previously thought to be it is a protozoa. So nowadays it comes under fungus. It has three forms: cyst, sporozoites, trophozoites. Coming to the clinical features, primary atypical pneumonia, also known as walking pneumonia, because its symptoms are so mild that you don't feel you need to stay home from work or school, so you are out walking around. Then extrapulmonary pneumocystosis, so also mainly involves in CNS, bone marrow, lymphadenopathy, eyes, thyroid and GIT. Coming to the lab diagnosis, specimen collection, usually bronchoalveolar lavage, induced sputum, tissue biopsy. In case of microscopy, you can use, in case of trophozoites we can use Giemsa stain. For the cyst we can use methanamine silver stain. Coming to the culture, here we cannot be cultured of the fungus, it is not cultivable. And serology can use complement fixation test and latex agglutination. For the treatment, for acute cases we can use TMP SMZ, that means trimethoprene, sulfomethoxazole and pentamidine isotoniate or drug of choice. And other miscellaneous opportunistic mycosis, trichosporinosis for the central nervous system, it causes central nervous system, and geotrichosis, mainly it causes pulmonary mycosis, and blastocystomycosis infection, mainly it causes nails, and rhodotorella infection, it's mainly it infects in the systemic form.